to this week's video. My name's Lynda Gaiao. Today, the background frequency shifts into trait 32, which is continuity. One of the inevitable things about living life is that we are going to go through change. It's part of being a human being. And this particular trait is one of the traits that can really help us with change. It provides continuity between where we are and where we are moving into the future. It is really able to assess with its instincts what is needed and what is not. What should we hold on to? What should we let go of? Because in order for us to stay vital, in order for us to remain able to continue to be materially successful, we need to know when it's time to move on. We need to transform how we do things. We need to change how we do things. But it's not at the expense of everything that we've done up until now that's been successful. It's really being able to instinctively know what to hold on to and what to let go of. This trait is about adaptation and knowing what can be transformed and what cannot. It is this process of adaptation, but at the same time maintaining certain things. Trait 32 is part of the tribal circuitry, which means that its primary keynote is support. So whatever is going on with trait 32 is taking into account your entire team or your entire society, or it might be a family unit. And it's really understanding, if we don't stay relevant, if we don't adapt, if we don't change with the changing times, we're going to be left behind. And there is a fear that shows up with all of the traits in the awareness functions. And the particular fear that comes with trait 32 is the fear of failure. And this failure is directly linked to the success on the material plane. If we don't let go of certain things, if we don't adapt, if we don't maintain what is relevant and vital, we're going to fail. We're not going to be able to continue being materially relevant, materially successful. Part of what can show up here is a prolonged period of indecision. This really sifting through, what needs to be maintained. Where do I need to hold on to things and where do I need to transform something? And it's creating the right balance between these, which can lead to a little bit of indecision. Because this particular trait is connected to an instinctive awareness, this particular one is really linked to the nose. And what we get here is you have a nose for things. You have a nose for talent, for knowing who we should keep, who we should bring the attention of whoever's in the leadership position or an authority position. Like, hey, these people, they have the right skills and they have the right education. If we keep them or if we help them rise into different positions within this team, we are going to be more successful overall. So it's got a nose for talent and nose for knowing what's going to lead to material success. And one could even say that this particular trait brings a nose for failure, really being able to smell when something is off, when it's not quite right for this particular team or this environment. And with anything that's instinctive or intuitive, there is a subtlety to it, a softness to it. And if we are distracted by the mind, if we are distracted by all of the things that we can get distracted by, including our shadows, it's difficult to pay attention to that instinctive knowing, which really happens in the now. And with all things in design, ultimately trusting our decision-making strategy before we move forward with anything. When we are considering this in terms of a business, the person with trait 32 is either the talent manager or the personnel manager. Because they've got this nose for talent, they would be the best person to put into a position where they are selecting the right talent for the right job, putting the people with the right skills into the right positions. At the same time, this could be someone who's a business manager, because we spoke about the fear of failure, and this is all linked to the material success. And so this particular trait brings this ability to understand all the resources and all the pieces that are necessary for the team to move forward successfully into the future. And so they can really be great at understanding where the team is going to suffer as a result of making the wrong decisions or not adapting to change. And it can also be about having the whole infrastructure that supports the team being under jeopardy because of holding on to something or not embracing what needs to be transformed. And so having people on your team with trait 32, they can really develop these instincts for processes. What are the correct processes that are going to help us to hold on to what is successful and help us to transform things that need to change? And this really helps the team to have or to achieve this material success. And when you've got somebody on your team that really has the skill of knowing what needs to be transformed and what should be just left as it is, can really help you to know where to focus your resources, where to focus your energy. There's countless examples of companies that had a really winning formula, a really winning product, but as times change, that product becomes irrelevant. And if that company fails to see the fact that everything that's created success for them is not going to move them forward into the future, they are going to become irrelevant. Their entire infrastructure and everything for their team is going to fail. There's going to be failure in the future. And so having these people in place to go, what, I smell a failure here. I smell something's off. I've got this nose for talent. So let's bring these people in. Let's let go of this piece. Let's hold on to this piece. And it can be a great asset to any business or team bringing this skill set in. One of the things that does come with this particular trait is a certain level of conservatism. And that is about that continuity, about not just letting go of absolutely everything, because there are risks associated with change and progress and transformation. And so it's about that balance between the two. If you're too conservative and you don't take any risks, there is risk of failure. If you are not conservative enough and you let go of everything that's created success for you, that can also lead to failure. So it's really that balance of conservatism about holding on to what you should and letting go of what you shouldn't. One of the things I also wanted to mention about trait 32 is on the other side of trait 32 is trait 54, which is ambition. And this is like the ambition to rise up the ladder, to really achieve success in life. But we can have runaway ambition. So we're getting this pressure, this fuel for ambition. And the 32 in some way has this ability to put the brakes on runaway ambition, saying, look, those are great ideals, those are great goals, those are great things to strive for. But what I see here is if we drive too ambitiously towards this particular, I have this nose for, I can smell this failure that could happen as a result of that. And so the 32 can really bring this balance to that over-ambitiousness that comes from the 54. So this week, as we're sitting in this background frequency of trait 32, looking at continuity in your life overall, what are you holding on to that you need to let go of? what needs to be transformed in your life. And what are those things that are really crucial to hold on to? They really have meaning and benefit and are bringing success, and they're really important to hold on to. So this week is a great time for you to do a stock take, really, of what is in your life, what's working and what's not, and knowing that change is a constant of life. And perhaps, there are some fears that are going to come up for you this week about change, about any change at all, and just tuning into seeing how that fear of change or progress is showing up for you. I really love connecting into the intuitive or instinctive awareness, and I guess that's perhaps because it's part of my decision-making strategy, and because it's so subtle, I think that many people actually don't even notice or recognize that it's there. So I'd really encourage you to try to tune out some of the noisiness and the distractions of our everyday life and world, and just see what intuition or instincts show up for you. Maybe that smell or that nose for something is a little bit more highlighted for you this week, and just paying attention to it and remembering that if it's not your decision-making strategy, it's just purely here as an informational way of informing. So it's a precursor. Hey, here's something to pay attention to. Here's something to look at. And then always going back to your decision-making strategy with anything in design. I hope you have a great week tuning into this. And if you want to stay updated each week when the background frequency changes, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And until next week, I hope you have an excellent week tuning into your instinctive awareness. Bye for now.